Let's try. Hello, happy Saturday. I hope everybody's having a really good day. My hair is kind of crazy, but got the feeling to make a video on tips for new teachers that are starting out this year. I have 3 years of teaching experience and now I've started my 4th year of teaching. So I'm making this video for new teachers because when I started teaching, I really appreciated the help I got from teachers that have been teaching for 10 plus years, 20 years. But I remember really wanting advice from a teacher that was also new. So maybe someone that was on their 2nd year or 3rd year of teaching that doesn't have a ton of experience but has a couple of years under their belt. So that is why I'm making this video. Okay, the first tip I have for a new teacher is a way to get students' attention quickly. And teachers have different types of doing this. They have like a call and response, but everyone has a different personality and style. Not everybody wants to do a call and response because they feel like that's just not really who they are. So something I like to do that works for me and it takes practice is doing a countdown. For example, if you come in and the kids are high school, middle school students, elementary school, but I'm actually teaching high school now for my first year. I've been teaching 8th grade, middle school, mostly 8th grade and some 7th grade, but this is my first year in high school. Anyway, a countdown to get the students' attention, such as, okay, everyone's attention, or I need everyone's attention in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Or you can say 3, 2, 1, 0. And you can practice it. Because it does take practice. So when you're practicing, you get it right. But when the stragglers that won't stop talking after the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, you can then start adding in consequences. And consequences can be small at first, such as talking to the student about it first, like, hey, this is the second time that you have not you haven't stopped talking after I get to the 3, 2, 1, 0, and it is very important for you guys to stop talking during that time. I want you to talk. In other parts of the class, you can say that. Like, I like when you guys talk, but in those moments that I count down to 0, I need you guys to listen and stop talking. So that is something that has helped me a lot as a teacher. It's a very important expectation and boundary to have for a class that can flow and for students to be able to listen to instructions and be successful in the class. Tip number 2 would be to, going along with that, I'll just add in this quick tip. Going along with the expectations, I think teachers will have different opinions on this, but something that has helped me is knowing how to change your personality. And not like that, but knowing when to just be serious or just have a serious. You can start out the year serious. I know some teachers do that where they start out being very serious and stern and not smile and just be very serious. You can have that approach, but I think you could have a blend of that. You can be serious and have your moments of easygoing with the kids, laughing at their jokes or whatever. But knowing when to be serious. So that's another little tip. Just having your serious days where you don't feel like messing around and you keep it very to the point. I mean, everyone's going to have serious days. All right, side tip. That was a side tip, not one of the tips. Next tip would be to stay consistent with your expectations. I can keep using the 3, 2, 1, 0 expectation as an example, but if you're going to start out with them doing that, continue to do that. Or you can come up with a class expectation, but practice it and don't forget about it or get lazy on it, because once you forget about it and you allow students to talk over you, or you allow students to talk over students, then the harder it will be to reverse it. So keep it consistent and practice it. Let's see. Another another tip would be to call home to students for good and negative reasons. So, for negative reasons, a student continues to talk over you, or a student refuses to put their cell phone away, or maybe more of a concern also, like the student is not finishing their work. They are, just like a heads up to the parent. Um, like you're wondering what can be done to help the student be successful in the class. So more of a concern. It could also be an update. And it could also be something like a good update, like, hey, just to let you know, your son, blah, blah, has been doing a very good job at participating in class, always collaborates, always follows expectations, and, something like that. So it could be different calls. Next tip would be to work hard on your lesson plans, even when you're really tired and you're going to have your days where you're really tired and you don't have the energy to do the best lesson plan of your life. But another tip for first year teachers is to ask for help to lesson plan, because something that I really struggled with when I was a first year teacher was lesson planning. I kind of had no idea how to lesson plan. Even though I went to college for education, it was hard to implement it in the actual real life job as a teacher. So I would say that that's my next tip, is to work on your lesson planning. And if you don't know how to work on it, ask for help. Maybe someone at your school that is in charge of that kind of stuff and that could help you out, or maybe another teacher, or if you don't have a department, because sometimes it's like that. You don't really have another person that teaches the same subject as you. You can ask for help, maybe admin, maybe another teacher from a different content area, or watch YouTube videos for help on different activities, different strategies to teach what you're teaching, and things like that. Okay, another tip, now I'm just throwing out tips. Another tip is try Teachers Pay Teachers for any fun additional resources. There's a bunch of cool different things from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's not like you're cheating your way through being a teacher. I mean, unless you buy things that don't really correlate with what you're supposed to be teaching, then that's not. Things that add on to your curriculum and that will switch it up and make it fun. Teachers Pay Teachers. What's another thing? Another tip would be to add games to your lessons. But for special occasions, or like little reviews, add games to switch up any boring, or not boring, but any when you feel like maybe your students have been working, and you haven't really given them a break, add a game of review in there, or maybe just like a game for a rest, so your students can rest. Another tip is to revolve your lessons around your students' interests. So I teach Spanish, so something that I would do to revolve my lessons around my students is for them to talk about their families. They really enjoy talking about their siblings or their parents or their pets, talk about what their family is like, what they like to do together, what they look like, what their names are. You can do projects about things like that. It's kind of easy for me to do it because I teach Spanish, so that way students can practice speaking Spanish, writing about their family in Spanish. Or maybe you do, I don't know, your student's favorite artist or music artist, and you add them into one of your Google Slides. Like, your students really like Drake or something. Put a picture of Drake. Maybe you can tie Drake into one of your lesson topics. There's many different ways to do this. So that's just another tip. Add in what your students like in your lessons. And of course, you kind of have to know your students a little bit by now, by just like being in the room and getting work turned in. That's how you find stuff out about what your students like. What's another tip? Okay, another tip. I'm going to cut this video short, and maybe I'll make more tip videos, is to try and be consistent and on top of your grading. Again, same as lesson planning and just teaching in general. Sometimes it can be hard and you're tired, but it's important to keep your grades updated and be consistent so that students know where they're at and how they did on their hard work in class. Um, I think that's the most important part. Like, not of teaching, but it's to keep your students motivated, give them feedback, hand back the important assignments. You don't have to hand back everything, I would say, but hand back things that you know they worked hard on with feedback. You can do this through Google Classroom. You can hand things back digitally with comments, or you can hand things back with paper with comments. Um, and yes, that's what I'm going to say for this video. There's obviously more, but I'm going to cut it short because I don't want to make it too long. So maybe I'll make another tip video that is better than this one because I just felt like making a video right now. I just sat on the floor and decided to make a teacher video on a Saturday. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the video. I hope that it was helpful for someone. And that's all. Bye.